This is your first time directing at Budapest Operetta Theatre. What are your first impressions and what phase is the process right now?
Well, I absolutely love the theatre. It's very beautiful. It has this wonderful, actually it's seating a large number of people, I think 1,000, but it has a very great intimacy at the same time. It's wonderfully well equipped. It has this fantastic revolve, which of course your audience will be very familiar with. Very friendly staff, very warm, and I feel very welcome here. And we have already, I've come on this visit to see the designs already on the stage, the sets. I've had long conversations with the choreographer and the costume designer. So, you know, we're really just ready to go with this, the rehearsals with the artists, with the singers in the studio.
This is not your first time working with Klaus Attila, the general director of the company. Your working relationship goes back to decades or something.
Yes, about 10 years, I think, or even more. We worked together in Marseille. We did a production of The Saint of Bleecker Street by the American composer Giancarlo Menotti, and we had a fantastic time. We connected straight away. And he's a very fine artist, as again, I'm sure your audience will know if they've seen him in the Hungarian opera, the state opera. That he was so passionate and so committed and very easy to work with. And I think he remembered that experience, and that's why I'm here now.
In your interpretation, where would you put the emphasis in The Land of Smiles?
Well, I don't know how much knowledge or interest Lehár and his librettists had in ancient Chinese philosophy, but when I looked at this piece for the first time with a view to directing it, it just struck me how yin and yang are such an important part of this piece, and trying to find the balance between the two. And I suppose what we've really emphasized is these two worlds, the yin world of Vienna, of emotion, where Lisa is in control of everything, where there's a little melancholy underneath all the frivolity, and there's a kind of darkness, and opposite that, and emotion, and then opposite that we have the bright world of China, the yang world, the male world, the rational world, where everything is order and where duty comes first. And of course in Vienna, love comes before duty, and the whole piece is actually full of opposites, which we draw really strong attention to in the visualization. So Vienna is a very different blue and silver world from China, and also organic and round shapes, organic shapes in Vienna, and very geometric shapes in China, very strong, bold primary colors. So there's contrast all the way through the two worlds. So I think you really feel how out of place Lisa, coming from her Vienna world, feels when she arrives in China, where everything is so different.
And how can you combine the playful elements and the dramatic elements to express the author's intentions?
Well, playing is part of the whole process of putting on any drama and an opera, operetta. The artists, the singers, the performers, they have to play. If you don't have the spirit of freedom and the imagination of play, you won't arrive with an exciting product. That's in a broad answer to your question, but of course more specifically, the comedy in this operetta drives the tragedy. And without the comedy, you can't arrive at the right tragedy. And you need to see the journey of the characters, and you need to be entertained. You need fun and humour and playfulness in order to get the full impact of the tragedy at the end of the operetta. And of course, it is one of the very few, if not the only operetta, with what I would call a genuinely tragic ending.
And what is the message of this operetta in 2021?
Well, I mean, there are several messages. I mean, the lifelong message, the universal message, which has been since it was written and well before it's written, of course, and which is the subject of so many great plays and operas, Romeo and Juliet, Aida, is this love across the boundaries of race and culture, and how incredibly difficult it is. The usual message of operetta is love will find a way, somehow. But in this case, you know, we're asked to recognize that you need more than just love. You need a kind of unselfishness, a respect, a way of understanding each other, a way of allowing each other room to be the people that we are and come from the cultures that we are, and not to insist on staying yourself entirely. You have to give towards the other person, move towards the other person's ideas and feelings to make a long-term relationship work. And that's a message. And I suppose finally, you know, the most obvious and current one is this notion of respect for culture. You cannot always expect to agree with people from other cultures, but you have to find the respect and the ability to work alongside them. So tolerance is very important. And of course, finally, I suppose, you know, there's only so much fighting you can do for a relationship, and I suppose in a broader sense, in lots of aspects of life. You can fight, and at a certain point, you have to just maybe embrace the inevitable if it's not going to work, and put a smile on your face and move on.